David Wong, tutti fucking fruity.
The Cinema Chop Shop.
What's going on, everybody? It's Davey from the 80s, and you are now entering the Cinema Chop Shop, so park your ass right there. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the like, the share, and the subscribe button. And today we are going to review Joker, Folie, Deux, which is a sequel to the hit Joker. Now, I'm going to just honestly start this off with a bit of honesty here. A lot of people are not going to like this movie. I repeat, a lot of people are not going to like this movie. 1000%, once I heard the fact that it was going to be a musical, I raised my eyebrow. I was super skeptical about it. And even after I watched the film, I'm still skeptical about it because I don't think that that was the best choice for them to do. But when you watch the movie, you kind of understand where it's coming from. It makes sense why they did it. And I'm going to do a separate video kind of explaining the idea behind the movie, but I can't do that with a spoiler-free review. So that's going to be for another video. So this movie in particular, it follows it's a sequel to Joker. So after Joker, he's in freaking jail and he's awaiting his trial, and he finds a love interest with a patient, Lady Gaga, Harley Quinn, and then they kind of start their little romance relationship as he's also defending himself on the stand, or not defending himself, but also how he's fighting for his own freedom and trying to prove that, I guess, basically not get the death sentence. And I will say this is a full-blown freaking musical. There's no doubts about it. This is a damn musical. Don't let them fool you. If you are not a fan of musicals, you will not like this damn movie. And if you even are a fan of musicals, you might not like this movie. Why? Because I feel like the taste and some of the selections of the songs that they picked in this movie were not good. I didn't feel like they really suited the characters, really. There's only one song in particular that I feel like in this movie really, really embodied the character, and I felt like it worked, and it happened kind of in the third act. The third act of this movie, by the way, which to me is really good. Actually, the second half all the way to the third act, I think that's when the movie starts to pick up. That first half is really slow, and it's not much happening in the movie aside from like minimum dialogue and our introduction to the whole concept of the musical side. Like this movie is a very interesting movie, all right? And I feel like the musical elements honestly take away from the story. There's a story here, and it's a good story. The problem is when the musical elements jump in, it kind of takes you out, and it just doesn't feel like it sticks, like it shouldn't be there. And it honestly it just makes you kind of tune out. But there is a reason for the musical numbers. There's a reason why this movie is a musical. And it takes you all the way to the end of the movie to figure out why it is a musical. Again, that's something I'll dive more deep into when we get to that, me explaining shit in another video. Lady Gaga's character, she does a good job, but I'm not going to lie to you. She's not really in this movie like that. She's in the movie, but she's not really in the movie. Yeah, she's in like the singing numbers, and she's singing and dancing and stuff like that, but she's not really in front of the camera a whole lot saying and doing shit. She's really just a background character, which I'm not mad at, because that was what I was afraid of. I was afraid of this being a Joker 2 movie and then Harley Quinn getting hella spotlight. I didn't want that. And honestly, I don't necessarily believe in Lady Gaga's acting chops enough for me to even say she deserves that kind of recognition. Joaquin Phoenix does a great job physically. He looks the role. He looks like a man that's been in a horrible prison. 100%. Dude looks horrible physically, which works. And I love... There's people that say there's no real character development in this movie. And I have to push back and I have to disagree. The third act alone shows a lot of development in Arthur Fleck's character. He comes to this realization, and I think that the realization was really important to show how humane he is. Also, another cool thing about the movie is there's something that happens at the end of the movie that kind of, in a way, explains a theory, or kind of like makes the chances of this theory a little bit more plausible. Because what happens at the end of this movie, which I'm not going to get into details about, there's something that people started spitballing this idea from the first film, and I think that the possibility became a little bit more clear after the end of this movie. This is definitely the last movie. This movie isn't going to sadly make as much money as the other movie, and again, I can see why. I don't see people repeatedly watching this movie. Not because it's not a great fucking movie. It's not great. I'm not even going to lie to you on that one. It's just because what they decided to do with this movie. They decided to go the musical route, and that's automatically going to turn a bunch of people off. Two, you already had people that didn't like the first Joker movie because the first Joker movie wasn't the Joker, and them continuing on with this character is definitely going to rub people the wrong way. And then also, people don't like Lady Gaga, right? There's some people that just don't like Lady Gaga. And I get all of that. And I'll repeat it. There's a lot of people that are going to watch this movie and they're not going to like it. They're not going to like it at all. But I have to say that the movie isn't as bad as people are trying to say. Cinematically, when you watch the movie, brilliant, dude. There's some beautiful shots in this movie. Really beautiful shots in this movie. Even the musical numbers, even though as nerve-wracking as they are sometimes, because they decide to use Joaquin Phoenix's real voice in multiple musical numbers, and he does not have a very good voice. And even some of the Lady Gaga numbers, like, she's not really singing. Like, she wants to appear amateurish, and that comes off very, like, nails the chalkboard at times. And again, it's not to me, the musical idea wasn't a great idea, but after you watch the end of the movie, you get why they did it. Still don't agree with it. But like I said, there's some fantastic shots in this movie. I mean, really, really beautiful shots. And if you like that score from the original, the score is there. It's honestly throughout the whole damn movie. The score happens a lot. That score, where he's in the bathroom in the first movie, kind of doing that little dance and shit, that's literally throughout this whole movie. It's a lot to take in with this movie. Here's the thing. I really understand why people don't like this movie. And I'll kind of understand if people do like this movie. There's not too many people that are going to be kind of in between. You're either going to love this movie or you're going to hate this movie. And I understand both sides of the spectrum. But I think that the movie is a thought out movie. I'm not going to say a well thought out movie only because of the musical elements. But I think that it was a thought out movie. I really believe that this movie could have been a million times better if it was a dialogue-driven movie. The court scenes in the movie were fantastic, and it sucks that in the middle of a court scene and you're finally getting involved in the actual storyline, you get kind of sucked out because, like, he starts daydreaming and he goes into, like, a whole different area with it. He daydreams and it starts going into a musical number. That sucked to me. I felt like it took me out of what was really going on. I felt like Joaquin Phoenix could have gave some of the most emotional dialogue that we've ever seen him do ever, and I felt like that was stolen from us because they decided to make this a musical. I really think that this being a musical handicapped it more so than it did benefit it. And I can completely see the critiques about this movie. I get it. I understand it. And I would say go watch the movie for yourself. I'm going to warn you now that if you do not like musicals, you're not going to like this damn movie. If you're already skeptical about this movie, you're probably not going to like this damn movie. Because you really have to pay attention to this movie. You really have to watch the movie in order to find the little nuances and things in this movie. If you kind of tune out and you start to get bored or you start to just get irritated, you're going to miss what it's trying to tell you. And like I said, I think that it's a great way for Arthur character to kind of it show character development. You know, we had his character development in the first film. He kind of built up and became the Joker, and this was a really interesting turn of events in the second movie. And then also the idea that gets thrown out at the end, I thought that was also a really cool idea as well too. So that's all I got. Let me know if you agree or disagree, whatever the case may be. Drop it in the comment section down below. And you are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. I hope you guys are having a great day. And adios, homies.
I want to play a game. Subscribe now. The choice is yours. You're now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop.